All right. So today we're going to start the session. Like whoever knows me knows that I love red light therapy. I always talk about my red light mat, which helped me with my back issues. I lay on that almost every night, but you know, I need to find something that I could put on my shoulders because the red light mat, you know, you could lay on it backwards on your stomach and you just can't get like localized tissue penetration. So there's two different companies. I got both of them. I bought this one, Prungo. I was researching the Kinyon and I found the Prungo was red light plus laser, and it was stronger than the Kinyon. So I was like, all right, let's get the Prungo. And then Kinyon gave me a great deal on this for being a physician. They gave a discount on it. So I was like, let me try both of them. And one of the main places I use it are on my shoulders and then on my neck. And the reason I like them a lot is they're very portable. The Kinyon's smaller one, red lights, I'll bring them out so you can see them. And they got all different straps, so you could strap it on your back, strap it on your shoulder. And they're great for travel. Even if you're on an airplane or something, you can just charge these up. And you can pretty much get, I don't know how many hours of treatments, but decent amount of treatments out of each charge. And you charge them basically by plugging in one of these cases. So the Prungo, you see, it's this is a bit larger than what the Kinyon red light is. It does carry more power, but it is sometimes harder to place on when you place it on the shoulder or knees. The other good part about the Kinyon is you turn on one and all three of them turn on. And they pretty much clip on to the strap, and then you just turn on the power from behind. And you can change the settings, how much you want, how long you want to do it for, and what you want the settings to be, if I can figure out how to turn it off. The Prungo has these straps that slide on the side that you place on. And I put them on, like I'll take my methylene blue and I'll strap it on my neck. It's supposed to increase penetration of the methylene blue to the brain. So they work pretty well. They got red light plus the laser. So the laser is going to give you much deeper penetration to help with some of the healing and laying down cartilage and collagen for your joints. So these are two different ones I have, and I use them to travel. They're great. Anytime, you know, sometimes you go on a long plane ride and have lower back pain and stuff. These are great to have to help while you're traveling. All right. And how do you say, is it Jerome?
Close. Jeremy.
Jeremy? You're just all right.
Yeah, it's just a weird spelling.
All right.
It's originally Jerome when I was a kid. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
O to an A. Yeah.
All right.
It's Jeremy Mudick.
All right, Mudick. And I'm really excited because you talk, well, is a clinic or wellness center is based mainly on breath work.
It's actually, we're a fully guided experience through cold plunging, ice baths, saunas, traditional infrared, red light therapy, compression therapy, and then I have a full breathwork center as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What got you into this whole breathwork center?
That's a long story, but I'll give you the short one.
Yeah.
For me, it was I was looking for healing in a different manner. Like I was trying to try meditation and things to help with mindfulness, you know?
Yeah.
And, I came from a bodybuilding background, so getting your mind into the body, it came pretty easily once I dove so deep into training, but I still had all these emotions and things I don't know how to deal with, right?
Yeah.
And so I look at trying to develop mindfulness is actually a way for us to manage stress and process and witness our emotions realistically, right? Because then you can say, the better you can do that, the greater your awareness you have of emotional intelligence within yourself and others, So for me, it was a journey on trying to figure out how to do that, you know, because I just had this awakening moment with looking at myself in the mirror and realizing that like I need to work on some things inside myself. And so I actually found this exercise. It was like unlocking all the chakras of the body. And I was like, okay, like we'll try this. This is a little weird, but I'll go for it. And it was all tailored into specific breathing techniques into those areas with specific affirmations and where you took your mind, right? And I did it, and then it was like an explosion of confetti inside of my mind to where I finally able to feel my body and the breath expand inside of it. Yeah. And that was probably about 8 years ago. Okay. And that was my first awakening to breathing exercises and how that can do something for you. So then I started doing more research. Yeah. And I have a condition called EDS, I don't know if you're familiar with it. So Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So it's just a collagen disorder. Yeah. The variation I have, it leaves you extremely inflamed, right? Yeah. So to me, it was like, how can you get this better? Basically, doctor recommendation, good diet, exercise, all the things I already did naturally that never helped. Yeah. And so I started diving into like, I believe that I can heal this, or at least mitigate all of the response that my body's getting, the high inflammatory response. And so I ended up finding Dr. Joe Dispenza and Wim Hof. Okay. And that was kind of like the start. And then I just went and got a horse trough, did the ice bath in the backyard, and here we are.
And when do you usually do the ice baths?
When? Yeah. Depends. So for example, if I want to utilize it to maximize my hypertrophy workout, if I'm going to go to the gym, then I will do the ice bath before. Yeah. If I'm just looking for mental clarity and to process some emotions and be more present, and honestly to get closer to God because it wipes out all the noise, then I'll just do it whenever I feel called to it. So usually 5 to 6 days a week though.
Okay. All right. Cool. Mm-hmm. And like, what are some breathing techniques that you try to teach people to use every day?
Daily. Well, daily, number one would just be breathing through your nose. Yeah. As we know, mouth breathing is not the healthiest, right? Yeah. But most people have just never been taught how to breathe. Mm-hmm. And so they would say research says that we should be breathing through our nose 95% of the day, right? Only through the mouth intentionally for specific times, or if you hit a high level of heart rate through exercise or something like that, but then try and get to the nasal breathing as quickly as possible. Yeah. So breathing exercises I give to people, realistically, number one is just to find your breath first thing in the morning. Yeah. Because you start your day like that. If you go to bed with anxiety, you will wake up the next day in a heightened state, most likely in fight or flight, into some degree, and you're probably going to be breathing chest breathing, possibly through your mouth as well. Yeah. So if you get grounded first thing in the morning, it's like that's step number one. Yeah. Right. So it just comes down to learning to breathe through your nose, no matter where you're at. Yes. And as far as exercises go, I have a long list of those. Yeah. But the most common one to just be calmly in through the nose, deeply as you can, and then long exhale like through a straw. Yeah. Because that's just a really good one for stress management. Yeah. But also to get you more connected to your breathing and be aware and conscious of it.
Yeah, I think just slowing down the breath, like I do that continuously during the day. It's like, you know, once I picked it up, it's like I remind myself, I'm like, I'm breathing too fast. Even like during surgeries, you're almost not breathing or like breathing too fast when you get into like a tense situation, and you got to just like, you know, I tell myself and I take deeper breaths in and out. It's a lot harder because we're always wearing a mask, but do you use any tools like nasal tape, nasal stents, or mouth tape or anything? Do you suggest any of them?
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah. Depends on what the goal is, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're looking to, we'll break this down. Yeah. If you need to build up your CO2 tolerance, right, which most people do, because CO2 tolerance is like the key to manage stress, because when you start to get into a heightened state, that will happen. The CO2 will rise and people start to panic and they get hungry for air. Yeah. Same thing with exercise. If you want to improve your performance, you have to get better with CO2 tolerance. Yeah. If you want to improve oxygen delivery, CO2 is the catalyst for that. Yeah. So learning to, sorry, what was your question again though?
Oh, just I don't even remember, but
as far as products, sorry. Products. So as far as products go, it all depends on what you're looking to do. So if it's hard for you to breathe through your nose and you're trying to do something like CO2 tolerance training, then man, like you need to use something that can open that up. Yeah. Like I've used the intake one before, where it's like a magnetic pull. Yeah. And for me, I've been doing breath training for so many years now that my pathway's pretty good. Yeah. And to me, it's almost too intense.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. So I'm like, you know, all these people wearing tape on social media. I'm like, do you really need to wear that? And they're wearing it like all the time. I'm like, I'm like, my skin wouldn't be able to tolerate it. So that's one of the main things. I'm like, I can't, like, I wear a mask every day to operate, and even that I get like a breakdown in rashes and stuff from just the mask. So I couldn't even imagine putting tape on my nose. And some of the masks used to have adhesive, but I can't even use that anymore. So yeah, that's why I asked, because like some people are like, oh, you got to use these tapes, and then I'm like, no, I don't think I could tolerate it, and I don't see the reasoning behind it, because we've, as humans, grown up all these years, like no one's really worn tape on their nose. Yeah. All of a sudden, everyone's wearing tape and saying they hyperoxygenate their brain somehow.
Right. And that's something to consider, though, right? Is that it's like we're looking at innovation where things are like, hey, how can we make this better?
Yeah.
So we got to show some respect for that, where it's like people are trying, because there are folks with deviated septums, right? Where they physically can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you should probably get that, but don't let it be a crutch.
Yeah.
Because at the same time, like, you need to train those muscles and learn, like, let's say, for example, if you do a breath hold, and then plug your nose, and then you wait until you're desperately hungry for air, then your body produces nitric oxide, which opens up the pathway to breathe. So you can actually help someone who has something like a deviated septum, to where you just get them to produce more nitric oxide. Their pathway will expand and they can breathe better. So it's like, so for you wearing a mask all the time, I mean, that's something that, like, you should be doing CO2 tolerance training all the time, every single day. That way, when you have that, then your body's going to be able to maintain good gas levels, and you'll be more at a calm height. Actually, well, for you got to be focused, right? But calm at the same time. Because I can only imagine how intense that is. But your breathing is the key for that.
Yeah, and I do it all the time. Like, before I go to bed, even when I wake up, and if I wake up in the middle of the night, it's, and it's become in my, like, subconscious to breathe through my nose too. I used to put a mouth guard in to, like, I don't know. I read somewhere, like, trying it out for, like, realigning my jaw. So that has to do with realigning your posture, better posture, and it also would block my mouth, so I'd be nasally breathing. So that's why I use that. But, like, I think I used it long enough where, like, I became used to just breathing through my nose. So it's like second nature. I almost don't breathe through my mouth when I sleep. So, so, like, it's a changeover. At the beginning, I think it sometimes helps a lot of people get to that stage, especially with a deviated septum. The mouth tape sometimes helps, because otherwise you think you're going to pass out, right? And not be able to breathe. So I think that helps out. How about, like, I know a lot of people deal with back pain issues and stuff, and like, I was listening to a podcast where, like, this guy, all he did was, like, just specific breath training to get rid of, like, his back issues, because they were talking about doing surgery on his back, and he pretty much got rid of all that with just some breath training.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So this is a really good subject, and it's something I think that's massively overlooked.
Yes.
That ties into, this is like a huge subject that we can peel like a handful of layers on.
Yeah.
I think this all ties into trauma, hidden stressors, your fascia, and how it holds on to those things, and the memory of all of those things. So then your body naturally will go and retain the stressor and bury that emotion in that fascia, because it was trained to do so from whatever traumatic moment happened as a kid, and you found safety in that. Again, that was a big mouthful. But the breathing exercise, whatever he was doing and the intention behind it, was allowing him to finally feel safe to release that. So this is where, there's so much that goes into that, because you could say, so I've been writing a book now for like a year. But I have this chapter where it's called "Your Breath is Trapped in Your Trauma." And so if you can use breathing exercises to go into that spot, when I say into it, like taking your mind into it and trying to shift the vibrational state that it's at. This usually means that the past trauma is dictating how the fascia responds to movement. And we know that over 80% of our proprioceptors are in our fascia, which tells you all awareness in your body. So imagine all the masking that's going on in that one part of that gentleman's back, to where when he can learn to do that, man, it's like, he's going to reproduce fluid in through that tissue.
Yeah.
That's where the back pain and the inflammation is probably going to go down. So the more fluid movement you have through the fascia, that means the more freedom that his tissue will create, which means less compression and more proper tension distribution. Does that make sense? And so that's where using the breath realistically is just activating that part. Yeah. It's not even the breathing itself. It's the intention behind the breathing.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. The other thing, you talk a lot about cold plunging, and like, is there a certain temperature like people need to hit, and timing wise, how long have you done it for?
Well, okay. Me personally, my longest ice bath, 33 degrees, 26 minutes.
Okay.
But every time I say that, everyone's like, oh, competition. Like I want to, it's like, no. The goal behind that for me personally was how long can I stay in mentally? Yeah. Not just in the water, but how deeply can I remain connected and stay hot?
Yeah, and that's what I would totally understand from your perspective. And that's where people get it wrong. And it's always the competition part of it.
Right.
Rather than like, where am I gaining benefits?
Correct. Yeah, because you can't have any ego inside of that. And I say this to everyone when it comes to the water, there's no competition, only cooperation. Yeah. And so that's where, if you look in a specific time frame or temperature, I mean, everyone's different. And we've had thousands of people in my centers for the last 5 years, and everyone's different. But, and I'm going to use this analogy because this is actually the best analogy, I think. There's science now that's coming out for cold plunging, right? And like guidance and term and cold temperature, and everyone's different. But here's the thing. If you and I went in the gym together and we were training each other, supporting one another, we're going to instantly go harder. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
It's like, dude, instead of pressing the hundreds, we're going to go for the 110s today.
Yeah.
You would feel comfortable and safe that I got your back. Like, dude, I'm not going to let you die.
Yeah.
I think you got 4. And you're like, okay, I think I can do 2 now. But it's like, no, now we're going to go for 4. If you went by yourself, you're going to say, I'm going to do the 90s today because I don't have a spot. Yeah. Going into the cold water, what we do at Reconnect is we guide you through it step by step. We get you grounded in the present moment, utilize your breath, have your intention at the forefront, and teach you how to surrender into the present. That way, whatever needs to unfold will unfold. Okay. So this is where you would say, what is going to give you the greatest benefit when that happens? Yeah. Right? Because when that happens, all the things we talked about, and this is where I truly believe emotion is like the key to everything, man. Like when we can process our emotions and witness them, we not only find freedom within our minds, but also within our body. That's where some of the greatest healing takes place. So I've had folks, man, where they would say, doctors have told them, do not get in water under this level of degree. And I've even had a guy who had some cardiovascular damage from being in a frozen lake, and something happens to him. And he's like, I can't handle the cold, this and that. And I said, how much you want to bet I can get you in that ice bath and you'll be totally fine? It's because I believed that he could do that because I've seen miracles happen in this stuff. As I'm sure you've probably witnessed yourself. You're like, whoa, it all so much depends on the mind, right? So we've had folks like that to where they'd be prescribed, do not get in water this cold. 32 degrees, 6 minutes, they're hot, and they come out and they go, this should be impossible. This should literally be impossible. And it's like, it's all about where your mind goes. So as far as my recommendation goes, I mean, yes, science, I'm sure you've heard Huberman and I can't remember her name, amazing scientists as well. They've talked a lot about this, about it just has to be uncomfortably cold. But the problem with that is that anyone can convince themselves that 75-degree water is uncomfortable, right? It's all about your mind. Like you can have so much trauma and fear of the cold or even of the water that you get into 75 degrees and you're shivering like that. But all that is a trauma response. That means we're not getting the cold shock proteins in response of what's happening with cortisol being released in a healthy manner. They need to balance this out and getting all these things to regulate and all this amazing communication. In fact, the person's just freaking out. Right? So what we have seen just in my centers is that the more consistent you are and the more that you just surrender to the present moment. I had this quote on on 2 of my ice baths. It says, the water won't give you what you want, it will give you what you need. So as long as you can surrender into the present moment, it will open up all the doors to possibility and you will get exactly what it is that you need. So that's where I don't really have a full breakdown because I go against a lot of what the science says, because I'm like, they can't do science on if you and I were training together. They can only do it on the individual doing the exercise, perform the thing for the program. These are the results. So going into the cold water, you have to have, if I were to guide you through the ice bath and you felt safe with me and you trusted me, you trusted the moment, that is going to bring out different results than if you sat with someone that you didn't trust that was right there, or if you were by yourself.
Yeah.
So that's where you got to look at some of these things are immeasurable, right? We don't even know how to find an answer for it.
Yeah.
I just know that in my centers, we have seen some of the most miraculous things with, have taken a 12-year-old girl sitting there for 16 minutes and melt ice in her hands.
Yeah.
I've taken a guy with stage 4 cancer who's literally got 3 months to live.
Yeah.
And he goes into that water and finds absolute peace. And he's with us for 6 months.
Yeah. Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
So I think so much of that comes down to the environment, feeling safe, getting the right level of support, and then the cold can really be transformative.
So are you trending to get colder and for longer periods every time they come, or like
not necessarily?
No. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I'll fill you on this. We have a cold plunge at both my locations. That's at 45 degrees.
Okay.
And then we have 2 ice baths that both sit at 33.
Okay.
So those guys build their own ice.
Yeah.
We just go off of whatever you're feeling today.
Yeah.
Go to that tub.
Yeah.
So we're trying to teach people awareness, right?
Yeah.
And I think awareness holds the answers to almost everything we're all looking for. Because I mean, you like we talked about before, and we can teach people to tap into that moment. And we just say, hey, where do you feel called to go?
Yeah.
And they take a few breaths and they go, I don't want to do that one, but I feel called to do that. Yeah. That's the one you do, right? Because we all know, like, you want to conquer fear, you go towards it, right? You don't let it paralyze you. So in those moments, we're teaching people how to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's where like the real mental resilience comes versus going, well, I always do this level of temperature. I always get in the water this way. And I always do this thing. I'm like, you're trying to make something that's meant to be difficult easy. Yeah. And you're missing the whole point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, like the cold plunge is like one of the gadgets I haven't bought yet. I think it's going to take up too much space in my house. But I do plan on putting it on the house I'm building. Nice. What I usually do is, though, I like during the wintertime, I'll jump in my pool. And that usually gets cold enough. I think it's pretty darn cold. But I think one of the main things that's held me from getting a cold plunge as one of the first things is probably because I come from the Northeast, and that's been so traumatic that I'm like, I just don't want to be cold and wet, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I've gone comfortably 5-10 minutes. Like when I go to some of the gyms or spas, I've like been pretty comfortable like going in there. And a lot of it's just like I practice breath work before stepping in there. But what's your belief? Like some people say if you do it like 3 or 4 days in a row, then you're like, you know, you pretty much almost don't have to even think about it. You can go in there.
So yes, that can happen, right? You build a tolerance.
Yeah.
And here's the part that I always have to challenge with that is that if you, let's say you do it 4 days in a row.
Yeah. Yes,
your body's now going to adapt to the cold better, right? Versus day 1 to day 4. But depending on your emotional state will actually dictate what really happens. Yeah. Because if you, let's say the first time, man, you were stressed out, you're feeling it, and you're trying to understand what exactly is going on inside of me. Yeah. And then, how's it going, bud? And then day 4, you feel so, okay, I understand what this feels like now. I've already gained this access of how to process my emotions and things. Yeah. Then day 4 is going to feel different. It might even feel easier, but the same type of work can still be taking place as far as you're building emotional intelligence in yourself. You're learning what this feels like. Yeah. And if you do it by yourself, then I think what you can do is you can learn new coping mechanisms and new ways to condition yourself how not to feel, which is not good. Right. But if you're keeping the active work on staying aware, letting yourself feel it all the way through, right? Yeah. Like really tap into, feel every bit of aliveness that flows throughout you. Yeah. That way you can learn to manage the stress response. Yeah. Day 1 to day 4 can still be really progressive and healing. So then for me personally, right? So I did 1 year straight, 3 times a day for the first 4 months. And then I went down to 2 times a day, morning and night. Oh, wow. Yeah. And you could look at that and be like, what would be the point of that? Because I was trying to understand. Like that's why I speak from this, some experience for the last 8 years of this is what I've been doing. And I've walked so many people through the water of every type of personality and condition, disease you can imagine. Yeah. And everyone's different all the time. Yeah. And every time someone starts to develop, like I said before, like, well, this is my routine now. I go, why? This is, the routine is getting into discomfort, right? Yeah. Don't make the uncomfortable thing easy though. So then, so what I'll do is I'll switch it around where it's like, okay, you're gonna get in and you're gonna head dunk right away. Yeah. Now when you come out, we're gonna go in and we're gonna wave your arms first for 10 seconds. Okay, when we go in now, we're gonna do this breathing technique beforehand. You're gonna sit the opposite way in the tub. Okay, when you go into here now, it's like, so then you're always switching up to where you're breaking that pattern of trying to find comfort. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because that's like for me, I try to ease into it, you know, whenever going in there, try to figure out how I'm going to ease myself in there. and get comfortable
in
slowly.
Different settings. Ease yourself, but like
into the water, just in the cold plunge whenever you're doing cold plunge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's totally normal too, right? Yeah. It's more like what we don't want is for you to always do the same thing.
Yeah.
Because then you're missing out on so much growth opportunity, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say you are easing into the cold water.
Yeah.
Say it's your first couple times. Absolutely, man. Let's be gentle, right? There's no need to be get in this thing because you will not win.
Yeah.
Because there's no winning or losing.
Yeah.
Like it's pure cooperation. That's why we tell some folks that, man, if you get in the water for 5 seconds, that's a victory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, because you might have faced the biggest fear. Like we literally have, like we had this woman who lost her son who literally died in a frozen lake.
Yeah.
And she had to watch it.
Shit.
Yeah. And it was like, she came in and she's like, I want the ice bath because I want to heal this.
Yeah.
Dude, it was like the most beautiful thing ever to watch this woman conquer that, because her fear of the cold, because she was reliving that moment, can't even imagine the amount of pain, right?
Yeah.
But to see her stand up in the ice bath and just praise and just thank the Lord, that it was like, oh my gosh, like I did it.
It was almost like a baptism scene.
Yeah, it really was. And it was just like, wow, you know what I mean? All because of stepping into that, you know, and facing it and wanting to face it. But it's like, we could have allowed her to be like, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And just keep going in the 45-degree one and just find comfort in there, because she never would have healed that wound.
Yeah.
But it all came down to the environment feeling safe enough for her to be like, I want to switch this up. Let's do something different. Like that's the growth, right? Yeah. So for you, man, if you did it 4 days in a row, try a different approach. Next time, like don't even do your breathing when you get in. Just get right in. Yeah. And if you're like, boom, right there. That's a beautiful moment. Let yourself feel that rush. Of course, the adrenaline's pumping, but contain it. Use your breath and manage that, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about cold plunges.
Cold plunges and the breath work.
Yes. So that routine you're talking about, it's similar to like working out, right? If you are going to do the same exercise set, you're going to plateau out quick. You got to like stress your body in different ways to like be able to get those gains in the gym.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because I mean, we've all heard it, muscle confusion, right?
Yeah.
But the confusion part comes through volume load and metabolic stress, like how far you push it, how far you don't. And there's so much data out there when it comes to everyone. I feel like responds a little differently. Yeah. You know, you can look at the best bodybuilders in the world, and you can look at like, man, the top 5, and they actually all train differently.
Yeah.
You're like, man, these guys they look incredible. They're the biggest. You can't get any bigger, but yet they all train differently. Yeah. Different volumes. Some of them stick with 2 to 3 sets, and they do 12 to 15 reps. And other ones are like, no, man, I do 5 working sets of 6. Yeah. And then it's like, then.
Or long rest, short rest.
Yeah. Well, and when you follow some of the, go through the magazines for some of their competition workouts. And then when I went through Schwarzenegger's book, and I'm like, it's almost like a day job doing Schwarzenegger's workouts. I'd be like 3-4 hours.
Day job, so
it was like 3-4 hours a day, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm only halfway through this workout for today.
Was he just smoking weed and working out?
Yeah. You're like, I forgot I have a job in a life. Yeah, jeez. But yeah, that's the whole thing is learning to find the right level of stress, right? So like hormetic stress, that's ideally what we want. And I feel like that's for everything. So cold water, sauna, even like exercise, like we said, like all those things will have a sweet spot for each person to where they're getting maximum gain. Yeah. You know, and that's ideally, I think, what we want for all this stuff, right? Is to like, because chronic stress can create disease, right? We all know that. But if you have good amount of stress and you manage the stress response well, then it's like a constant growth and no plateau.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. We grew up in Rhode Island, so it got cold. And I mean, I can't stand the cold now, like weather-wise, because I'm like, I just decided to be cold. I could have just decided not to be cold. But I would go around wintertime, like close to 0 degree weather. I'm like, I'm not going to be out that long. And I just don't want to take care of a jacket. So like when I go in, I got to check my jacket in. So I'm like, and the way I got comfortable doing that was breathing. Cause I realized like first thing I did, like when I got out in the cold, I was like holding my breath, like the sympathetics fire up and like you're just tensing up. And I was just like, I'm just going to let all of that go. The temperature is still going to suck. It's not going to be like, oh, now I'm like in a heavenly bath.
Just feels negative 37.
Yeah, you just it's just like, okay, breathe it out. Like your blood vessels, like just relax, and there's a whole different response. And that's when I realized that, oh, this makes a huge difference. Like the way you breathe. And yeah, I don't do it often now.
Man, I'm telling you,
except when my car's acting up every Tuesday night.
And that just happened. Yeah.
I missed the one last week. And then I picked the car up this morning finally, and I had to drop it off after work today.
Use your breath, right?
Yeah.
Did you do the same thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
They gave me a different loaner. I was just like, I can't drive 45 minutes to where we're doing surgery tomorrow. Like I can't take an Uber there. I spent like a good like $400 or $500 in Ubers last week because of this thing.
Man.
So I'm like, I'm like, it just got in the hospital. I did my case today. It's notorious for always being delayed. I wasn't going to get out that late, and my case was delayed an hour and a half, which is a lot. Like for if you're standardly delayed an hour and a half,
that's where
it's a lot.
Can do some breath work.
Yeah. I swear, at this hospital's physician lounge is the perfect place to hold a breathwork seminar for surgeons. Hour and a half was actually good. I was like, this is so nice. I thought I was going to be delayed 3 hours and then not know if I'm going to go at that 3 hour mark.
Were you at Andy Elliott's? Did you do Andy Elliott's thing?
I've been to a lot of his events. Yeah.
All right, because I thought I saw you like what was it, 2-3 weeks ago?
Oh yeah, and I walked everyone through some breath work there.
Yeah.
Yep, right. That was PaintCon.
Yeah.
PaintCon. Yeah, so it was a lot of painters and contractors and stuff. And
okay.
So that was great.
Yeah.
To be on stage and that's most of the time when I get on stage, it's actually for that.
Yeah.
Walk them through some breathing exercises and get them kind of primed and ready to learn, because just like you talked about, like holding your breath, man, how often, like you even said it in surgery, you're like, man, sometimes I'm like, and that's what we need to try and fix realistically, because that is just a stress response. Like, how do you handle that vibration or that emotion when it comes into you? Usually holding your breath is the most common thing. I mean, I did it. Like the abuse I took as a child taught me to hold my breath and keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
And as I grew up and I started diving in, like I talked about earlier about connecting to my breath, I finally opened up where I could get my first diaphragmatic breath.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that feels like a world of a difference, and man, straight to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Because it's like, whoa, how much tension was held in my gut, and I never really knew how to release it. And obviously, I started diving more into biomechanics and fascia, and we hold the majority of our tension in our gut. It's got the freaking mind of its own, and all
these
things.
It also makes sense with sympathetic, parasympathetic, because your parasympathetics are going to make your gut run. Like, and if you're tense, stressed out, that's your sympathetic response all of the time. And you're able to let the parasympathetic run. So that's probably where, like, even thinking of it physiologically, like that's makes sense.
Opens up the gates. To like everything, really, to like everything. I mean, just besides your guts, but
I don't know if you guys talked about it earlier, but like surgical training because you're just, most programs create this very stressful scenario. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
even if it's,
I did general surgery, so
even
it's
if
worse
it's not stressful.
plastics.
So I did a couple of years of general surgery. Like arguably like malignant, like high standard program. And you're just like, and then you go to operate after you try not to fuck up on the field, like taking care of patients. So first thing you do, trying to throw suture or whatever you're doing in the case, you're holding your breath. And like, that's, it's like, if you can't conquer that, like being like, there were multiple times, I would say definitely the first whole year, definitely first 2 years, but it then showed up like rarely, but for a few years, it's like, just like, I got to remember to breathe. I'm holding my breath because I might be shaking a little bit, trying to do a like fine motor skill, but that shaking is making me hold my breath even more. And it's making that worse.
Yeah, under a microscope.
Under a microscope.
I always like remind myself to breathe.
Just
through my nose.
Now it's kind of actually microsurgery is a good exercise for like breath work.
Yeah.
Because if you stop, like it's going to show like right there, like you're not going to be able to do your job if you're not breathing normally.
But you know, like something that popped into my mind, I think we should have Jeremy like teach like our staff, especially with opening up the surgery center, like our nurses in the pre-op area before the surgery, I think they should work with the patients on like breath work. I think it's so important because everyone comes in so anxious, like, you know, some people want like Valium and stuff, but like working with them like, before they go into, before they even go under the knife to surgery, I like just taking that proprioception away, like right at the beginning. I think it's huge. And that's what we use. You know, we use the numbing medication. We try to use that before like we even make the cuts. So they have less pain throughout. But like, if you can take away that anxiety, I think overall recovery will be like so beneficial.
Well, in the pre-op visit and then doing it in the I think starting it in like the pre-op visit and then the day of surgery beforehand, and it'll help patients like respond to pain, soreness, recovery a lot better too, because it'll give them tools to make the whole journey a lot easier on them.
Man, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds like it's a done deal.
Yeah, we should just do it.
We should just do it.
I mean, really, like break that down a little bit and realize, like, I mean, how stressful that getting surgery is, and the anxiety that comes in. You know, I mean, you're always telling people to just relax and breathe, but I imagine for you guys,
you just need to calm down.
Just calm down.
Calm down.
But really, like getting the patients to be completely relaxed beforehand where the anxiety drops. I mean, it will allow for their bodies to respond to not only the drugs that need to be taken, but think about how like the body already naturally defends itself all the time, right? It's always in this state of like, I need protection because it's looking to conserve energy and survive. That's why like it'll eat up its muscle first, right? It'll do this first, all these things so you guys going into surgery, I mean, if we just added something like breathing exercises to where the person regulates beforehand, then everything else is going to be so much easier where you're like, imagine a massage and the person's, you're like, oh, you know, okay, let's give him some drugs.
It's me during a pedicure. I swear that's one thing I can't breathe through is a pedicure. I'm like, I fucking hate pedicures. I couldn't do it either, man. There's no way. The person's like,
I don't know.
Like,
you got to just get a good person.
Relax. And he's like putting his whole body weight into like stopping my toes from sticking straight up. He's like, I can't do anything. I'm like, I'm done. No more. Like, I knew I hated this crap and I just hate it more.
Yeah.
If you can breathe through a pedicure or teach me how to, then
I don't know. I've done fine with it. I don't get them all the time, but my wife asks me every once in a while. The first time I went with her, she was like, you know, she ordered this pedicure. I was like, what the fuck? People actually like this? I'm like, what do you? And then come to find out, she got me like the cheapest one because she didn't know how I'd like it. The second time I went, I was like, you really ordered me the cheapest one? I want this one. So I got it all like decked out. It's not that it's that much.
Response.
And
the cheapest
it was so good. I was like, all right, I could do this.
Oh no, the closest I'll get to a pedicure is a shoe shine.
Yeah. You just got to go to a good person.
Everyone's got their thing, you know.
I can't.
Was it a Vietnamese lady? I don't want to be racist, but
well, you said pedicure.
It's good. You got some good comfort there. You know?
You got to have the right person. If you had a white lady doing your
what do we have here?
Oh, it's red light therapy.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
Who brought it? You or?
Yeah, me.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my portable red light therapy thing. I have two of them.
Oh. Of course,
well, I bought this one, and then they offer that for like $150, and it's like a $500 thing. I was for physicians. I was like, come on, I'll take it. I'm like,
absolutely.
This one's just marketed a lot better, and it's much more portable. These are a little wonkier to put on your shoulders.
Okay,
so, yeah.
You guys ever been in front of like a large panel?
We have.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and that's why we did this because we do a lot of wellness. Like, I'm into wellness, longevity, like do peptides, and we have hyperbaric therapy, and then we use the red light. Those are the two main modalities post-op we're using for post-op care. So
and the thing about great. Like you're saying, your body, when you're stressed, stress takes energy, and you have a certain amount of energy in your body. So if you're going to be stressed out post-operatively, and you have a set amount of ADP set for whatever your body's going to take, you have extra inflammation healing coming because you had a big surgery, and you're spending extra energy because you're stressed out. You're probably going to have a higher risk of complication of like your wound not healing right. So we're trying to like just optimize blood flow, optimize lymphatic flow, optimize energy expenditure in the body so your body can use it for what it needs, and that's healing.
Man, I couldn't agree more. That's amazing. I love hearing that you guys are doing that.
Yeah.
Like that's what every place should be.
And the main thing that sparked my interest too was like, because like in the pre-op area, we're usually marking and making our plans, and the patient's standing there, and it's usually a cold room. They're naked. Usually we put the other people that are there. Sometimes they're fine with their husbands or family members being there, but for the most part, they're standing in front of a stranger, like pretty much naked, and we're marking them. A lot of them think like our marking's going to be off if they take deep breaths, and sometimes like a few weeks ago, like I had to stop almost 3 times. This girl kept on fainting.
Oh, I had one patient. I was like, "Do you have scoliosis?" Because like sometimes you don't notice it until like you're marking because it might be slight. I'm like, "No, I'm a little tense." I'm like, "Okay, can you relax?" And you're "Oh, you don't have scoliosis." For a while, I thought it was like trying to figure out why everything's so crooked.
She was internally running.
She was so
That's why.
like holding on tight, like that. Her right shoulder was like digging into her ear. It was like, just. Let's take a deep breath.
And we do a lot of breast cancer surgeries too. So those patients already come like at another level, and it's expected because they're going through. It's like a traumatic experience for them. So trying to just calm that situation.
Yeah, because it's not just the trauma from the diagnosis in like a short period. Usually, like within 2 to 6 weeks. They go from diagnosis to seeing a radiation oncologist, medical oncologist, surgical oncologist, plastic surgeon, going over different potential plans with each of them. And again, in that 2 to 6 week mark. So
that's a lot.
Like, and we can't say anything about the medical oncology part. Like, if I had to go through it, like all the medical oncology, like nowadays, I wouldn't say all of it, but a lot of it would be just new information for me. I was like, oh, what does this actually cause? What does this do? Do I even know the right questions to ask? So that is very high stress.
Yeah, we need to get some breathing involved in this, guys.
Yeah.
Some full blown like a spot.
Yes. Yes, definitely.
I do have an app.
Okay.
I could work on that too.
Is it Reconnect?
It's called Air Breath, AYR Breath.
Okay.
And it's videos of me like guiding you through breath work.
Okay.
Yeah, like all different types, like from like 60 seconds up to 25
minutes. We got to get you an Air Breath t-shirt. That's why I guess
this is the Reconnect shirt,
Where are your spots? Where do you have
Scottsdale Road and Thunderbird.
Okay.
In Mesa, Wrecker, and McKellips.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Pretty close to both our clinics, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And what sort of treatments do you have available at the different locations? Are they the same?
So they're both technically the same.
Yeah.
It's just the Scottsdale one is it's a little bigger. So but realistically, it's all the same stuff. So it's infrared saunas and traditional sauna, and then compression therapy, arms, hips, and legs. Red light therapy, the massive, large panel is actually like top of the line ones on the market. They're amazing. And then 2 ice baths, both
those are worthwhile
degrees.
because
which one did you get?
The Mito Red.
Mito Red.
Yeah, the Mito Red, like their newest one.
Okay.
Is that what we're getting?
No. Well, we have the platinum LED, and then just kept on reading reviews. It was like between Mitre Red and Platinum.
Yeah, both great.
good.
You know, like when you, because the reason I went with Mitre Red, not only are they local, which is great, but I watched a video of a guy take apart 6 different red light therapy devices, and EMR Tech in Mitre Red, he found that like it was exactly what they said it was. Like he measured the diodes in there and what it was producing in the output, and it was exactly what they said. And all the other ones were like fourth of what they put. You're like, dang man, that's why they're so cheap.
They're cost cutting measures.
Yep, that's how it works. Because you would never know, right? I bought this thing off of Amazon for $100, and you're like.
Well, the thing is, you know, and some people like, you know, they're getting them from Alibaba. They make them like look the same. You know, so
they'll just
you don't even the lights are like they look like they're same exact thing.
They look identical. Yeah. I mean, I'm grateful.
I'm starting a whole
center.
They're actually just like normal 60-watt light bulbs with red saran wrap over them.
We're going top notch. Top notch. You guys want the best quality.
So we're looking at we're looking at, it's called the Immortal Chamber. So what it is it's red light. It has some vibration therapy, and then it's got hydrogen therapy in there. What else? It was like multimodal. So I was like,
what is it, like a chamber you sit in?
It's like, it's a red light bed, and the top actually like kind of, it's hydraulic and it comes down. You sit on the bed. The good part about the bed is that like you don't have to lay flat. And for our tummy tuck patients, they
you
can
gotta hunch over,
kind of sit up, and where we
just
need
think of it as the George Foreman grill of wellness.
Sounds pretty sweet.
6-in-1.
6-in-1.
Sounds like a good Christmas present.
You're ready for recovery.
You guys are putting that in your place?
Yeah, we're in our new surgery center. We're going to put it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
We just got to walk in. Hyperbarics delivered. He was a big pusher for the hyperbarics, and we have a pretty decent chamber. But again, like you're saying, you have to go in there, lie down. So like a lot of people that use it are post mommy makeover tummy tucks. So it's hard to lay flat, or even if you're propped up. So now it's like, you can walk in, have multiple people in there.
Okay. So it's big.
Yeah. It's four person
with 4 recliners. Yeah.
Wow. And so it's vibrations, so like a chair's vibrating?
No, that one is not. That's a different thing.
This is just a hyperbaric chamber. So
gotcha. Okay.
It's vibroacoustics, which is like different frequencies in your AirPods.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And their headset, whatever they have.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like vibration, man. That's some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You guys ever do... you guys ever had like a sound bath or something like that, or been a part of that? Any type of vibration?
No, I haven't
therapy?
tried it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We do it with our breathwork classes.
Are you in water?
No.
Okay.
Have done some of those.
Sound bath.
So sound bath. So it's pretty much like you're being bathed in vibration.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty wild. So each of them have a specific hertz, right? Yeah. And it's wild when you play specific ones. And if that vibration is off in someone, and they can measure this stuff too, which is really cool. You will literally see people start grabbing their throat, and they're like, and we're literally playing the throat bowl, which is so, I mean, we played the one where it's the crown bowl, right? So into the head. And I literally will watch people start going.
So you just played in the middle of regular speakers? Or?
No, it's actual bowls. Like
the sound bowls?
Yeah, sound bowls.
Yes, I have. Bowls. I have done it.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah.
Yeah,
my wife uses it to put our kids to sleep.
Really?
Hey, man, it works.
Yeah.
Calms the nervous system.
The first time I did it, Sedona, great place to do it.
There you go.
They believe in all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I was a little bit I was pretty tired, like going into like a long weekend, and we went there, we did it. I was tripping the whole time. I was just like, and so like my wife brought up doing it again. She didn't have the same feeling for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that any day of the week. Let's go. So they're like, the lady that did it is I think we did it at the Princess. It was like, it could get pretty intense. So if it's going to be too intense, sit with your head that way, away from the bowls. If you want more intensity,
Had the head near him.
I was like, okay, well, my head's going to get as close to this bull as possible. Yeah. It wasn't quite as extreme as the prior time, but I absolutely love it. It was just like for the whole hour, I'm like, just like my body's useless, and it just put me in such a great headspace. Completely relaxing. Those sound bowls I'll do it whenever.
So I use different
twice a week at Mesa.
Yeah, so
there you go.
I use different gadgets. Like I use like the Brain Tap, which has some breathwork stuff on there. I have the Muse too, but I don't use that as often. Like the Brain Tap, I don't know. I think it's got more modalities and gets you more in like a trance phase. But like there was there was one of
with which one? Sorry,
the Brain Tap.
Yeah.
There was one 45-minute session.
Extra one back? Yeah.
No, I need it back because I got to order a new battery.
He gave me his extra one. He's like,
I use mine like daily. I'm like,
because he's just like, mine's not working right now. Can I get that one back? So
it works so well. Like, you know, getting you in like deep sleep, and you just notice the difference. It's got a huge menu, but they haven't updated. They don't have many updates, which I don't think they really need, but I'm like, I'm always looking for the newest one. But some of the breathwork stuff, like one of them, like I decided to listen to it first thing on Saturday morning, and I'm laying there. I felt like I was in a rave, like just listening to this thing, and like
it's pretty intense.
Had all these. it had all these emotions coming out too, and it was like all different ways of like breathwork. The one guy.
Wait, you had emotions? That's a new thing.
I know. That's a thing. That's what the right breathwork. The emotions came out.
Yeah, I was actually trying to get on that program because I walked him through his first ice bath. Actually, and that like he did a little interview
Porter?
on it. Yeah.
Let's
and he did a little interview on it, and
because they got to get better sessions, more sessions.
Yeah, I know. I did the breathwork thing on there too, and I mean, not to discredit the guy and like the main guy.
You know the guy, right? It's Paul.
Yeah, Pavo or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not a big fan of that style of breathwork. You know, like.
I thought he made. Do you do that much noise in your breathwork? Because his seemed like way too extreme. I'm like I got kids sleeping in my room, or like my wife, and they already think I'm fucking nuts because I'm like I lay on a red light mat and like I got my Brain Tap on, and I'm doing this crazy breath work, and I'm like I can't make that much noise with like what they expect with the breath work.
So let's break that down a little bit. My breath work, so what I created is called Resurrect breath work. And a lot of it is, so I come from a personal training background, being a biomechanics specialist. So if I were to train you guys, we're going to start out with some breathing, and then we're going to go into myofascial release, and then breathe during your myofascial release, and then we're going to do some corrective exercises that get you primed and ready. Then we start the workout. So most people that do breath work.
Not to break you up, what type of myofascial release?
Deep layers. So it'd be like lacrosse balls, PVC pipes. 5-inch balls, things like that, like through the gut, trigger point, all the areas, anything that's going to, like, let's say we're training legs. Well, we're not only going to roll the legs out all the way down to the feet, but we're going to do your gut, which is going to obviously tie to everything since the majority of your myofascial meridian lines run through, right? And then we'll even do like your lats because your lats connect to your glute. So anything that's like going to fire up and help with movement of your legs, then that's what we'll roll out. So breath work, usually they skip that whole process and to start you out with 225 on the bar. You're like, dude, what? That's crazy because I don't even know. I'm not even aware of my breath. I don't even know if I'm breathing properly. I don't even know how I actually feel. I'm just going to do this thing. Okay, get settled into your body and do those things, blah, blah. What does that even mean? How do I get settled in my body? Most people don't know how to do that because they don't even have the awareness. So I break down all of my breathwork classes to where it's like elementary level. Because I don't know where anyone is at. Like I've had people literally travel across the country to come and experience these to where they are practitioners and they've gone and taught other countries and they're like, whoa, like no one really takes this much time to teach you how to breathe before you go in to breath work. And so that's where like Brain Tap has been missing the mark on that. And that's where like, this could be amazing. That's why I actually opened my app up and started it is because it's like, man, people need to learn how to breathe, better their overall breathing, and then go into breath work. So I would never just start with like, it's like, no. we're going to get you aware of your breath. We're going to find it, connect to it, get into your body first.
Because I thought I was crazy, like listen to stuff, and I was like, I just couldn't do it because it was just, it was too much.
And the music sometimes can be very chaotic. And like, if you come into my classes, man, we're talking like, it's like vibration music. Like, you know, with like a little bit of stuff going on in the background, and then I'll increase the music little by little, the more you guys get into the present moment, because then you can receive it. So my classes are all like a movie or like a song, to where it builds into and you have that chorus and the breakdown. And so I'll use music that's really powerful. Like, you guys watch a movie trailer, and if you play it with no audio, you're like, oh, that's cool. But you play with audio and you're like, man, my soul moved in that. It's because of the music they use, right? That theatrical, powerful music. So I'll use that kind of music. And like, I'll build it only in the right moment. That way it feels like your nervous system is welcoming it. You know what I mean? So it starts out very chill, very relaxed, to where you're actually able to connect to your breath. Because once you drop in, there's no more thinking. It's only feeling. Then you bring in more powerful music, and it's not like, no offense, like African tribal, like, you know what I mean? Like, if anything, like, I'll use like some aggressive, like, where it's got like a hard, like,
Hans
you know what I mean?
Zimmer.
I'll use some Hans Zimmer sometimes. Stuff like that. That way it's not, because what you described, man, is a gap that I saw in breathwork teaching. It's always like the crazy jungle style music. And I'm like, why? Like, most people, if you play anything that's theatrical versus something like that, almost everyone's going to navigate towards the theatrical, because that stuff touches our soul. This stuff makes us want to move. You're like, hold on, breath work is a way for you to consciously shift your state. So if we need to go inside to do that, we need to be in our body in a calm state, not this like crazy chaotic, I want to go dancing. You know what I mean? And that's the hard part about a lot of the way breath work is taught, is because it came from those cultures. So bringing it over here, it's been kind of like, some people come to my classes, it was like, whoa, this is so different. Like, why did this feel so, and I'm like, well, different music, different intention. And all of it is really just designed for you to do the work, not for me to make some beautiful theatric show. You know what I mean?
No, it makes sense.
The Cirque du Soleil of breath work.
Now
I'm going to do a cartwheel. Breathe in.
Everyone open your eyes. I'm swinging from the rafters. We're trying to stay away from that. You know what I mean?
Hey, if it works, go for it.
That's true. That's true. Gets the people going, you know?
No, it's definitely something I want to try out, because like, my legs and my lower back, like, they're much better. I've been doing like the knees over toes guy, but some of it's like just stretching and just relaxing. And just being in the operating room, I try, but like, when you're so tight from, like, when I started my own practice, it was just like, you know, I just worked. So like, there wasn't much exercising. It was pretty much operating. And then like, I party sometimes.
What were you put in 100-hour weeks?
Over 100.
Easily? For 6 years in a row, 8 years in a row.
And it was like every day. So it you know, like, my hamstrings became so tight. I'm like, I had a real hard time, like, getting them loosened up. But since I've, you know, the past 3 years, I've gotten more into working out and stuff, that's kind of loosened up, but like, not to the level where it needs to be. Because I used to be able to do splits and stuff, and now it's like, I couldn't even get close.
That would be weird if you
I can barely touch my toes.
Clinic.
Hey, if it gets them ready though.
That is true. Check what I can do on this pole. Main thing, I think a lot of people do, like, that causes those symptoms, and the more you neglect it, the more you do. You're usually hunched over, so stretching your pecs out opens that up, and the hamstrings being tight, because that just puts your pelvis in this like forward tilt. So like, stretching the hamstrings out gets you more to a neutral spine than like just go.
Can I dive into this a little bit?
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, so like, I love this subject for
He's
one.
a bodybuilder.
Yeah. My wife's a physical therapist that does myofascial release and manual therapy.
That's why you asked. Yes. Okay, so I love this subject because it's something that, again, is super overlooked, right? And it's actually, so we need tension and compression in our body. Like, without it, we'll just be like noodles. But then typically we end up getting too much we'll have what you just talked about. Hamstrings are too tight.
Yeah.
So all that means is that something else is pulling it in the wrong direction, right? So what we do is, and this is how I've had folks with scoliosis. So we talked like real extreme scoliosis like this for like 30 years, and now they're like this. Wow. It's because we change the tension load on the fascia. So if someone is bound tight, we'll just use you as an example. In a seated position for all those hours, brutal, right? Sitting is not the problem. It's the tension that becomes the issue. So the tension is being pulled too long in that direction, and the path of least resistance is going to be chosen. That's what your tissue does because it conserves energy. So all of a sudden it gets tight because it starts turning things off to turn on other things. Secondary muscles versus primary. It tells the fascia, which is like ultimate communicator. It's like the most intelligent organ in the whole body. And it literally has like this massive wave of being like, what should we do, guys? That's going to save the most energy. This is where our bodies are naturally bound in a specific rotational pattern. This is why we all kind of operate a specific way. Like if I had everyone in this room run and we filmed it all in slow motion, all of you would have like a different head placement. Like whenever your foot hit the ground, boom, your foot would land a little bit different. Your knee would rotate slightly different. Your hip would shift a little different, right? And you can say, well, that's just how it was developed over time because of, like you talked about trauma before, your job, like all these things can contribute. But it all comes down to changing the tension load. That is it. So for you and your hamstrings, like you can do all the exercises in the world, but if you're not actually changing the tension load, then it's not going to stay. So you can sit for 6 hours and have no issues every single day, no movement, all 6 hours, as long as you have the right amount of tension. Right. So I'll give you an example. So like, for example, if I'm sitting here like this, right, and I'm locked in this position for this long, so if I want to loosen up my hamstrings, I need to fire them up. Don't stretch them to turn them off or do something, this kind of thing. It's like I would get my leg out and I'd push my heel into the ground and I would pull back as hard as I could. And then I'd rotate to that side and suck my stomach in, push my head over, just like that. And I might even pull the shoulder blade back. And it's hard for me to breathe because I'm pulling it as hard as I can. And then I'd relax. So now what I did is I just not only fired up my hamstring, but I got all the connective tissue that allows for movement and rotation to take place to engage. So this is where I was at this retreat. They hired me out to do some breath work. And the day before, a gentleman they were playing volleyball. And he like stepped back, boom, and like, jammed something up in his back. He's like, I don't know if I can get into the ice bath and do this stuff, man. My back has just been killing me. And I was like, can you explain what happened? And he shows me what happened. And I was like, okay, do you want me to help you fix it real quick? And then you can just enjoy the rest of the day. And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, yeah, I don't think you actually hurt anything. I think that you shocked something, hit a nerve, and it turned off that tissue. So let's fire up your glute max and your adductor, and it'll probably go away. And he was like, okay. So anyways, I had him do this. Neutral position, draw his stomach in, elevate up the rib cage, pick up his hip as high as he could, and fire up his adductor into my leg, which fired up the opposing glute. And we just held until his nervous system started to freak out, held for about 45 seconds, and then he stopped. All of his pain is gone because we just got the tissue to fire up properly again. So for you sitting for all those hours, man, if you just get the right things to fire up again, you won't be tight. Like that's what's so cool about fascia is that we can actually alter manipulate it within like 60 seconds to where it's like, is it long term? No, right? But you have to train it that way to where it gets long term.
But still, if you train, if there's certain things you can do like weekly or twice a week things that keep things loose and working appropriately.
Right.
And then then it is long term, because then if you stop doing that and like 2 months later things get tight, that's why.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, for me when I bodybuilded.
Bodybuilded so good.
Man, I bodybuilded good. No, when I was a bodybuilder and I was much larger, like for me filming myself run was like embarrassing to watch because I just had all this compression and
bulky
and then when I would diet for a show and I'm like opening up my back, you could see all like my vertebrae protruding. You're like, okay, this is an issue. Once I got into corrective exercise and biomechanics, I realized these are all problems here. I need to fix all these things. And how do I do that? So it's by changing the tension on my fascia. So now my vertebrae went back in as my abdominals went back like this to support it. So now I'd open up. Now you see no vertebrae. It's like, whoa, all the tissue sits where it's supposed to. Then you see me run now and it looks like I'm running like a gazelle. Like I float when I run. Right. So you would say that all that compression that stopped my body from being able to move well, right?
Yeah.
So then I just had to alter the compression because our bodies, Thomas Myers, if you guys are familiar with him at all, he describes this the very best. He's like the guy him and Robert Schleip are like the whole reason why you even know about fascia. Like they've been the ones, like princes hire them out to their country and they come and they're part of the knee surgery to make sure the fascia is cut just perfect. Yeah. So when they lay it back down, it's going to fully be 100% with no scar tissue damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just incredible work. But, that you talk about, like, we are just these tensegral units that are constantly fighting for tension. Yeah. So everything inside of our bodies, again, this is with emotion, breathing regulation. Like this is why even going into surgery, doing something like breath work and corrective movements would literally prime the body for surgery to where your guys' job would be so much easier. And I'm telling you this because I had a client of mine who did this. He got the full hip replacement, carve it out, put a new capsule in there, pop it in there. So we did 3 months of nonstop connective tissue training, like all functional movement, right? Everything in rotation, tension loading, like really just changing his mechanics where his hips would just be amazing. We did a lot of breathwork training. He went in for the surgery and the doctor was like, what did you do? From like, I saw you 3 months ago and we decided to pick this date. He's like, everything just moved. So it was a piece of cake. Yeah. And he was like, this is what we did. And the doctor was like, what the heck? Or the surgeon was like, this is crazy. Never say anything like it. And he's like, well, we got his nervous system super regulated. His fascia was hydrated and he was fully present to be able to regulate his emotions before he even went in. Yeah. So it's like, and then it just makes your job easier. And you're like, man, there's no fighting in there.
Yeah.
Pretty wild,
A lot of people don't realize, like the structure of your body, like your superficial structure, you have skin, subcutaneous tissue, you have a thin layer of superficial fascia, then some more fat. And then you have your like deep fascia. Right. That covers most of like your muscles and stuff. But it's just when my wife was going through manual therapy certification, and she's like, oh, you might think it's BS. Just let me try this out. And it just made me realize like even like tensity in that superficial fascia can result in like bigger problems because it's not just that deep, like thick fascia that causes the problem. I think that superficial fascial like release and keeping it relaxed, hydrated adds a lot to movement and not pulling on things deeper down inside. Yeah. So I was just like
compounds.
I was like, this actually makes sense because she was just like, you might not believe in this. I was like, this actually does make sense, and I feel better. So, and this is why I think I feel better. So, I think this works.
I love that.
And this is like 20 years ago. This is like early on in my medical career. Yeah. So, I'm a strong believer in that. And I'm also, it's like low stress means maximum productivity. Everybody responds to stress differently, but when I say stress, it means different things to different people. If you're gonna spend 90% of your time stressed out about like whatever's happening, that means you only have 10% of your capabilities to like complete that task. But some people are like 90% stressed out, so they add to that 10%. They can be like 30, 40% productive. But like, have we talked about this before? But we have. For me,
I have a totally different belief in it.
Yeah, but for me, I feel like I'm optimum with like 20 to 30% stress. Because if I have like zero stress, I don't get anything done. I need some stress. Actually, I take that back. Now I think it's 20 to 30 to like 70%. I'm pretty productive. Anything more than that, I'm just going to be like probably too focused on the stressful event rather than focusing on accomplishing what I'm supposed to.
I just think of it differently. Well, chronic stress is the leading cause
he doesn't have that stress center in his brain.
Chronic stress is the leading cause to decreasing like longevity,
heart disease, stroke.
But also it's like, when you're looking at growth and, like what we do, like you're an entrepreneur, and for an entrepreneur, if you're comfortable, you're not growing. Right. you know, you need this, you know, you need it to open up your second center that, you know, to drive you to do more, to, you know, think about it more. Like for me to sit still and be comfortable with life and how things are going, then you're going to slowly fall behind. So like, I think stress, like in different ways, I don't really stress. It's, you know, overall it's thought of as stress, but you know, do breath work and all these different modalities to like not have real stress, but like have the stress of like wanting to do better and be better. And like a recent quote I heard that was like huge was like, you know, I don't hate the pain of winning. I hate losing. That's what drives me. Hating to lose is what drives me to be the best at who I am.
I love
that. But like, yeah, there's no pain in winning. You know, like when you work out, like you're not, you know, you're not doing it like, you know, to win, but you hate losing to people. And that's like kind of going back to wrestling. We wrestled forever. And like in wrestling, you know, you drove to be the best. Like you hated to lose, but like you did those spins. You puked in practice every day because you wanted to
the night before.
You know. No, you hated to lose. Yeah.
No, that I love that two different perspectives, and I think everyone, and that's the thing too, is that you can look at stress so differently from all these different lenses, you know, to where it's like, well, if you're stressing, then you're probably have no faith and you're not being present. But it's like, hold on a sec. But if I'm being stressed while I'm doing this thing, it's actually pressure that could just be moving me forward. Yeah. You know, that's something we have to consider. And I think that's also an
that's
awareness
that better
thing.
Pressure is like where, like, you know, like for me, like I don't take, you know, people stress out over money. I'm like, it's just money if I lose it. But like, you know, I want to make more, and like it's not making more that drives me. It's just like it's the pressure that drives me to try to do better and be better.
But it is a label. If you make more money, you feel like you're accomplishing more subconsciously, not like, oh, okay, I made this much money. Like you can go out and sell crack and make money. That's not going to.
I just seriously think money's more digits in the bank account. That's all it is. And once you think of it that way, it doesn't really matter. You just, you know, you just want to be the best version of yourself. Yeah. Best version to your wife, best version to your kids, and that's like what's important.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's important for us to like know differences between pressure and stress. Yeah, you know, because then you could like look at your wife and be like, she's actually just pressuring you to do something because she wants you. She sees the best part of you. She's like, your wife should always see the best version of you living inside of you and constantly trying to push you and pressure you to bring that side out. Yeah. Because you as the man are always like, dude, I'm tired.
What if you see it as she sees the worst part of you and tries to erase it?
There's therapy for that. That's a different conversation.
We got to get her into breathwork.
but at the same time, because like that is such a good example where there are a lot of men who say, my wife is stressing me out because of these things. And if you have someone who's like, nah, man, she's actually it's just pressure that you feel because she sees the man in you that should be living today, right? So that's where like us being able to have that awareness and be like, man, this actually isn't stress, this is pressure.
Yeah, and you know? that's the whole thing with like creating alpha males these days. It's like, are you able to withstand it? Like that pressure that your wife's putting on you, is it the correct pressure? Like for my wife, we're both like type A personalities. We just both work our asses off and like, we don't care. A lot of people, you know, there's a lot of haters, but we're like, whatever. But we push each other. And I look at her like, I'm like, fuck, she was yelling at me. But like, I look at it and like try to figure out what I could do better. You got, you know, there's a reason she's doing that. And there's ways to kind of please her.
He starts doing stuff that pisses her off even more.
Yeah. Well, if it's like folding clothes, I'm gonna
completely wrong.
I'm gonna fold them inside out.
I hired another maid to fold more clothes.
Oh
like, no, I just wanted you to fold the clothes.
Does she watch this?
No. We don't watch it either. My wife definitely doesn't. She watched one episode. I was like, oh, you were saying this stuff about hormone stuff. I'm like, yeah, we actually talk about stuff that matters to people. It's just like it lined up with exactly what this influencer was saying or whatever.
Wow. Nice.
Like, we're trying to bring like useful knowledge to people to like better themselves. Yeah. And then like when I say something that might not line up with something I might have said on a prior pod, that's
you're not, human.
Yeah. So you were talking about ending question. I thought about this. How about, like we end it like with asking everyone, what's one modality or supplement that you think is going to change the future of wellness?
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a great question.
So, and I think that I think I've been drinking Neuromind, the more plates, more dates guy, and that shit actually works.
Nice.
But yeah,
I guess you go ahead and ask
with
it.
that. So, yeah, what's one supplement or modality like red light or something like that, or tool that we can use, and you think it's going to shape the future of wellness?
Breathing. I think
100%
100% without a doubt.
Yeah.
Breathing with the right techniques and the right type of guidance of the breath, because breathing can regulate everything. Like you can be on the most perfect dieted regimen with nutrition, exercise, all those things. And if you're not able to regulate your emotions, you're a freaking ball of chaos.
Yeah.
So if you can, whether it's sitting here and having a conversation about these things or having a hard conversation with your wife or with your kids or employees, whatever it is, the number one regulator and connector to the present moment is your breath.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
I totally see that.
And we always talk about sleep, and it's no better way to get to sleep than like doing some breath work.
Yeah, sleep is a huge one, without a doubt. But, and I will say this because I've worked with people for over the years with it, even if you get terrible sleep, and you get your breathing in check, good oxygen delivery, inflammation stays down, you have great productivity, then you're like, wow, the sleep isn't as important because I'm still recovering so much through the power of my breathing. Sleep is still very important, don't get me wrong, but if you don't get it, use your breath.
I think that's what he was trying to get at, is to get better sleep, is to get your breathing in check. Because like just getting yourself ready for bedtime, the breathing exercises.
And not to get yelled at by your wife, if you take a breath before you answer her back, usually you can answer better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
I back that up.
Yes. Kill time and think. That's all it takes.
Oh, man.